guests. Thought I'd give you an update on what's happening with the masterclass, my webinar. Well, this week I have been reliably informed I should be able to be looking at the final edit, which means I'm going to be going through it, giving notes, making sensible suggestions, and then going through it again and doing the whole thing over again, so that my suggestions first time round weren't just my insecurities, ego and paranoia talking. But that's all happening, and it should be launched soon if I haven't lost my 2018 launch window. I'm just a little concerned because we're going to be heading into what I think is going to be a pretty manic news cycle in the US, and America is my biggest market, in early November. And then of course it's Thanksgiving. And we all know Thanksgiving is the precursor to the silly season, Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, all that good stuff. People shut down. They don't necessarily want to spend their hard-earned cash on professional development. They'd rather spend it on prezzies and good times for their nearest and dearest. And who can blame them? So that's where we are with the masterclass. And right now I'm going to be launching my masterclass. I'm going to be doing a lot more public speaking, so I thought it was a good time to start paying attention to my personal brand. And I had to do this exercise called a personal brand audit, which doesn't sound much fun, and I've been putting off for a while. But anyway, I finally got through it now, and it's good actually. My personal brand's in a lot better shape than I kind of thought it was. And the reason why I'm interested in the personal brand is because, let's face it, we all have one. And if you're wondering as to, and you have one, you actually have one, whether you think you have or not. And if you doubt me, Google your name. Go on, put your name into Google, see what comes up. That's your personal brand. That's where you are right at the moment. So really and truly, you might as well start managing it. And personal brands are tricky for creative people. Traditionally, advertising agencies have never been able to brand themselves properly. They've all tried it, but really with minimal success. I mean, probably the only agency that I can think of that's ever had a consistent personal brand throughout its whole lifetime is Ogilvy, right? And for a lot of the time, that was based on David Ogilvy himself. I mean, are there others? Once upon a time, Leo Burnett, I should say, Leo Burnett, again, same kind of thing. But for the rest of them, it's one thing agencies struggle to do. They try to create their own methodologies and their own proprietary technology, but a lot of the time it was just the same rehashed bullshit. I remember when I was at BBDO, they had this thing, they used to go in and chant at every meeting, the work, when really everyone knew it was about the money, the money, the money. So, and as a creative person, it's like, what do you do for your personal brand? I mean, basically what all creative people did is they tried to win as many awards as they could, which is not a bad short-term strategy, but it's, unless you're John Hegarty or Dave Trott, it's just not sustainable. Actually, not even them, really. It's just not sustainable over the long term. And it's funny because it's something that I realised that I had to do fairly early on. And when I was working at JWT, my USP as a creative is I got really good at pitching new business. I got really good at leading pitches. And new business is the lifeblood of every agency. And it's something that senior management, both at a national and a regional level, get really engaged about. So it was easy for me to own that niche, and it had a massively positive impact on my career, because it meant I got to hobnob with all the country managers at regional level and fly around here, there and everywhere, and generally do quite well for myself. And then moving forward from that, I decided to do an MBA, because I thought being a creative person, a creative manager, an executive creative director with an MBA would be a very powerful combination. And indeed it was, because all of a sudden, clients, you could talk to clients in a language that they understood and they respected, and in a vernacular they hadn't heard from a creative person before. And the reason why I'm interested in personal brand now is not only to consolidate what I'm doing with my brand, but it's because I'm working with a couple of projects right now where I'm advising directors on how to develop a cohesive personal brand for themselves. Because again, like a lot of agency creatives, they can produce great work and great positioning and great branding for other people, but they struggle to do it for themselves. And directors are exactly like that, because frankly, one director is much the same as every other director. If you want something done like that, then, you know, frankly, all you have to do is hire the DOP that shot something like that. So what's the real point of difference? I don't want to go into the literature for it, but just I don't want this talk to go on for too long. But, you know, props to Tom Peters, who I think wrote Brand New back in the it may have been in the 80s or the early 90s, for sort of like, you know, starting this thing. But anyway, I'm going to be exploring this over the next few weeks. So if you want to hear more about it, keep looking at this spot. And remember to check out my blog, because I'm Paulie and I write fantastic things.